guys, welcome to the HVAC Diaries. This episode of the HVAC Diaries is brought to you by New Calgon. How are you guys? Did you have a good week? Our week was super short and super dead. Actually, I shouldn't say that. My week was super short. Dad and Trevor worked an extra couple of days than I did because, so on Monday was September 30th and we had Truth and Reconciliation Day. And then our fiscal year end was also on September 30th. So I had a little bit of work to do with that. So I took one day off to work in the office on that kind of stuff, bookkeeping, admin stuff. But I'll be totally honest with you guys. I was in the middle of reconciling a bank statement and somebody called me up and they were like, hey, randomly, we're making a bunch of social media content today. You want to come? And I was like, yup. So I dropped everything. All right, I'm in my truck now because I got invited to do something way more fun than bookkeeping and bank reconciliations. So I'm going to go. And I went off and had some fun with them. Okay, that was fun. But luckily for me, I took the next day off as well. And I got all of my bookkeeping done then. But I really should have only taken one day. So I really only have 2 days of HVAC adventures to tell you about today. I was going to include a story from the summertime that I wasn't able to get to, just to supplement this vlog a little bit. But I've decided against it. You guys, I'm just going to keep it short and sweet this week. This is the reality of things. So I'm just going to tell you what we did this week and be done with it. Are you ready? Yes, you are. So we had a walk-in cooler at a pizza chain that's very famous. Their walk-in cooler, so actually the first complaint was that it was dripping water. Hey, our cooler seems to be leaking water. Can you come take a look? And then it was more urgent. It was like, actually, our cooler isn't getting down to temperature anymore. Please, can you come more urgently? So we went there and we found the evaporator of coil completely frozen over. So I spent a bit of time up there thawing out the ice on the coil just with a heat gun. Unfortunately, though, there's just no place to work up there. You literally have to shimmy on your stomach to get to the unit. Nice. Gotta drop your butt. Oh, no, you can't do that because you got a rod between your legs now.
Yeah, I do.
There you go. Oh my goodness. Oh my God, I can't believe I just did that. And then we moved some ceiling tiles away so that we could actually sit upright and work in that space. But it's so tricky there and it's so dark and everything is... Anyway, so thawed out a bunch of the ice there. Cleaned the evaporator coil with high pressure nitrogen. It was pretty dirty. And then also we checked the pressures and all of that stuff. I also made an adjustment to the digital controller because it was set to 31 degrees Fahrenheit, which is below freezing. And so 32 even is a little bit too low. It's freezing. So I adjusted that temperature from 31 up to 34 degrees. So there's a couple of degrees between freezing. We'll see what happens there. Pressures were okay. It's not like we have a refrigerant leak or anything like that. So, yeah. All right, we got the lid back on for testing purposes. We also did a pretty interesting site visit this week. We visited a mosque. Now, they had a couple of things for us to do there. They want to install or add air conditioning to their gathering rooms. And there's also a small classroom that they want to add HVAC to. So we're thinking of putting some ductless splits in there. They actually have currently I think it's 12-ton rooftop unit for their gathering room. And the guy was just saying, like, he's like, that thing works, like, it never has to work until they have a gathering. And then it works overtime because people fill the room. He's like, there's 400 people that come in here, and then they're here for like an hour or two, and then they leave. And so he's having issues with cooling that place down properly. Because I had the idea, I was like, well, why don't you pre-cool it? Like, give it a bit of help. Pre-cool it. And he's like, well, then people complain about being cold when they walk into the room, which is also a problem he doesn't want to have. So just trying to figure out how the best way to make this thing work. Anyway, they have 4 rooftop units currently, and they also don't have anyone taking care of them. No one's doing HVAC maintenance up there. The filters are so dirty.
So is there 2 or 2? 2 and 2?
Yeah, there's, no, 3 and 3.
3 and 3.
Also, just a little single-inch filter. We'll double this. We're gonna change it to a 2-inch filter, but they're all very dirty. So that's first things first. We're gonna do a maintenance inspection on all 4 of those units, first of all, to make sure that they're actually working properly. Maybe we don't even have to add air conditioning, we don't know. But yeah, interesting place. And just a side note, you guys, I take videos of pretty much everything that I see and that I do. And I don't want to be disrespectful by putting videos of this mosque up on YouTube if that's not the proper way of doing things. So I don't know. The last job for this week's vlog was industrial refrigeration. We did an annual maintenance on an air dryer at a sawmill. And that's just something that we do obviously once a year. We check the thing over and we replace the filter dryer in it, whether it needs it or not. And what I thought was quite interesting was the weights, the different weights of the filter dryers. The old one was really heavy. So anyway, it must be full of stuff, which is excellent. But yeah, so super easy peasy. In fact, we did it, all 3 of us did the one job, and it was like almost like an F1 pit stop where like Dad pumped the unit down, Trevor undid the flares, I was there with the new one ready to go, Dad was there with the oil. Like it was like boop, boop, boop. I just want to point out that changing a filter dryer is definitely not a 3-person job, but we are a 3-person team, so we share the work. Trev's just doing a quick leak test on his flares
to make sure no refrigerant is leaking through them. Unfortunately, we have a leak on this side. Just gonna tighten that side up a little bit more and then test again. We look clear.
Whenever we work at the sawmill, whenever we're done with the air dryer, we usually go and stand by this massive machine that debarks logs. So the logs come in on the river, and there's actually a little tugboat that like drives around there, and he's like he's all over the place, and he's just like in the water, just around the logs. I think he's got the coolest looking job ever. Anyway, what a demonstration. Anyway, so the log goes up onto this like conveyor thing. It goes through this, I don't know, debarker thing. It just rips all the bark off of the log and it goes up this conveyor belt. And then the log comes down and it rolls down this thing, back into the river, makes a big splash. So fun to watch. Well, I've been talking about it for a little while, but finally, I have one in my hands. The HVAC Tactical magazine. I got sent a whole box of these magazines with my face on them. Anyway, I'm just so pleased by this magazine. I think it's just so cool. I got such a good spread. Check it out. There's my Tinkerbell. My dad and my brother are in it as well. How cool is that? Yeah, I just love it. Women in HVAC got his little page as well. Isn't that just the coolest? Anyway, I'm just so pleased by this whole thing. I'm just gonna keep talking about it as long as I can. Alright guys, well that's all the HVAC adventures I have for you this week on the HVAC Diaries HVAC vlog. I really hope that next week is more interesting for you, for the vlog. But it is what it is. This is the reality of our jobs and our lives, and this is just like a bit of a quieter time of the year for us, and that's fine. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the HVAC Diaries HVAC vlog. We'll see you guys next weekend. Thank you very much. Bye. Thank you. Why am I saying thank you? Thank you. Why is that being weird? Am I being weird? I'm being weird. That's normal. My week was short. So on Monday we had truth. And what I found really interesting was the weight of the different air dryers. What? Air dryer. A phone call from one of our suppliers or clean the evaporator coil. So I spent a bit of time up there